Hello everyone, Zebros here, and this is tutorial for Bell of Teal. This is a module. It's only an interactable bell right here. That's it. No edge work is required, no prep, no nothing. And basically, the way the module works, I'm gonna be using Excel for Google Sheets for this because it's in my opinion, it's easier than using just Notepad because it's just easier to work with. Basically, you're just going to have here. Just imagine a random, not two C's, but you have a random assortment of letters, and this is your grid, right? And the way this works is when you click this, it'll go down the rows, starting from the first one, and once you ring it again, it'll start going in that row just through the columns, right? And after submitting a letter, let's say you press this one, right? Depending on the row, this whole board will transform using a few transformations. These are all the transformations here. Here I highlighted some of them because they're pretty similar, Two columns can be swapped, two rows can be swapped. Rows or columns has been cycled right or down. Rows has been flipped, column flipped, and then these two ones that are a bit more special. But basically, there's going to be 5 total transformations, let's say something like this, and that's going to be in the pool. And you have to see in each individual row if it has said transformation or not. So if this is the transformations that we have, and this is let's say it doesn't have the first one. Oh, oops, sorry. Doesn't have the first one, has these ones, and has something like this. Then this binary, we have to turn it into a number, and that number to A1Z26. So here I just have this simple solver to do that here, just so it's easier later. And that's basically the rundown of the module. The difficulty comes from the time it takes and the logic required because it's kind of unique. But anyways, the way I start this is just by going down the first column and just doing the 5th row. And once I get enough information, I just do the first row and then I just go see. But we'll try this. Let's give it a go.
P Y W S E J R T V.
Alright.
The first letter added is V.
First letter is a V. So if you want to reset your input, you just make sure, like, you go until the 6th column. I'm sorry, 6th row. And you have to make a word, of course, depending on the 5 rows. But let's do the next one again.
P Y F X E J R T V.
Alright.
The next letter added is V.
So we have something interesting going on here, which is that everything stays the exact same except for these two. And I don't know what could happen. Maybe we have one of the rows has been cycled and one of the rows has been flipped, or maybe two have swapped, like these two swapped and one of them has been changed, or I don't know. So since we don't have that much information, I just do this again, right? I do this exact same 5 to see what happens.
Y O S E J R T V. The next letter added is V.
So from here, I'm guessing, since we did this once and it went to X, and then we did it again and it went to S, I'm guessing what happened is we have something like this, right? And these two swapped, I mean, like, since the whole, imagine we have Z, M, and not W, but not X, C, something like this. Then here it'd be C, M, Z, right? Because the row has been flipped. So here I'm just going to note down row for flip and a 1 because it happens. And for this next one, I'm guessing it's probably a it's been cycled. I'm gonna note this down here. Flip and cycled. I'm actually gonna put this over here. Row 3 right X. We don't know how much is being cycled by, right? Because we don't know what's in here. So what we can do now is, instead of checking the first row, we can check this row to see how much has been cycled by. So we already know that it's gonna be P Y something X E J R T V is S. So also a tip for Bell of Teal is to get as much information as you can on the board, because when things start transforming and all that,
Y
it's annoying.
Q W O G F. The next letter added.
So you can see everything that appeared here was on this row. And let's see, now we just have to check. So if W was in this position, we would have O, G, F, Q, which means it would have to go right 1, 2. It would have to go right twice. Right? And then once we're here, 1, 2, yeah. So we know that row 5 has this and this. And also, just to make your life easier, you can also just highlight this so that you know which row you pressed, right? And now we can see what happened since we pressed this third row. Right? We already have the 5th row finished. We can honestly just put zeros on the rest. Or we think we have finished, because there could always be something, you make a small error of judgment because you don't have enough information sometimes. So sometimes this could be wrong, but you'll see that. So yeah, now what I usually do is just check the column.
G A V S L. Input has been reset.
This is when to the 6th row it resets. Now we have this. From here, how did it get to this? No, I'm not too sure. G came out of nowhere. S was here. And it went here. V was here and it went here. Maybe these two went here in some way. I do not have that much information. So I'll try this row, the row 3 again. See if there's anything.
A V Q F W O. The first letter added is O.
It definitely looks like this row was cycled in some way, right? Because we have Q W O G F, and then W is here, but Q and F. Maybe the columns have swapped. That's my first guess. I'm not sure. So here, I'll just put a 1 here. I'm not too sure, but I'll put that there. And I just check the column
W
for the next.
P E Y X. Input has been reset.
Yeah, I'm not too sure about this one because the G goes back here. W O, these two just make a clean 2 right. but F goes here. Yeah, it definitely looks like these two columns have swapped. Especially since the S here is now here. Yeah. And we don't know about, but this still is kind of... Yeah, there's still some other transformation going on because, it could be that it gets flipped and then it goes down or something. Not too sure, but it definitely looks like it's, the third and first column have swapped. Also, because the order here is important, right? The order always goes from top to bottom. So, if row 4 has been flipped, well, maybe. But it definitely looks like two of the columns have swapped. So what, F and Q? If F and Q swap, and then it gets rotated twice. So let's just type an example here. F, W, O, G, Q. If column 5 and column 1 are swapped, we have something like this, right? And then if it goes right by 2, and then here we have G and Q, we have this, which is almost exactly what we have here, except this went up by, G went up by 2. So maybe there's a chance that, one of the columns has been cycled downwards. But I'm not too sure. So I will say that there's 2 of this. Is it column 1 and 5 swap. I'll remove this, and now I'll just do something simpler and do a first row.
W, I, B, N, G. The first letter added is G.
And G went there. Yeah, this also makes sense, because if these two swapped, the first and fifth column swapped, then definitely looks like that. Before flip, well, I'm not sure. No, it can't be flipped, because then they'd be the same thing. Alright, just put 0. And we know we can also get a bit more info if we do. Yeah, I don't think that's that useful. Let me just get the column, and that's it.
E, W, X, A, P. Input has been reset.
Let's see here. W, X, A, P. Alright. I'll just do the first
E,
row again to see
I,
if anything here
B,
changed.
N, G.
Yeah, okay.
The first letter added is G.
So we know that it's only the first column that's getting changed, because the rest is exactly the same. So here we can, well, let's see a bit what's going on, because W went up 1, E went down 2, P went down 2, X went down 2, and down 1, E went up 2, sorry. X went up 2, and P went up 2. Which is almost what we had back here as well. So it could be that column 1 went down by, what was it? 3. 1, 2, 3, yeah. And this one, column 1 and 5 did not swap. Row 2 and 3, sorry, row 3, we don't know. Could be possible. This one could also be possible. Because if this thing just went down by 2, Then we'd have y, x, and sorry, down by 3. This is good, this is good, this is good. It looks like these two rows may have swapped. Yeah, there's a chance. And especially since the row 4 has been flipped, there's a chance that the row 4 flipped first, right? This flipped first, so so there's y here, right? And then it goes back. Yeah, it looks like it. So I'd say that this row 1 did get flipped. And there's not much else we can do, so I'll go to the second row.
X, E, P, S, W. Input has been reset.
Let me see this. Yeah, and E is back here again. So it must have flipped and then gone back. Or sorry, E is right here. I'm tweaking. Not too sure. First one is still, first row is still kind of a question mark. We're still not too sure. Let's try second row.
X, E, H, C, K, A. The first letter
A.
added is A.
And we can also see that A is now here. So there's a pretty high chance that if we take this down by this XAP, row 4 flip, or row 2, wait, what's the order? Yeah, con swap, row swap. Row swapping goes at the end, so this would go here. This is something. And then something happens. E ends up here, but that's not the case. It honestly looks like it just flipped row 2. Could that be possible? What did we think here? It was... yeah, it was pretty much just it's just row 4 that can flip. I'll do the second row again.
Q, Y, L, G, A.
But we can
Input has
check
been
here.
reset.
Did W's here? X is up here. P is up here. Yeah, so row 2 definitely has the column 1 goes down by 3. View. And also let me change this here. I almost got a word there. Scout. Let's see. Because if it's only... oh, that's also true. Because the order matters. So, in this case, maybe something swapped first, and then this happened. Let's just check the second row.
Q, Y, H, C, K, E. The first
Alright.
letter added is E.
Oh, sorry. These are all exactly the same. The only thing that changed is this. So row 2 definitely has column 1 and 5 swap. Row 3, did it go right? Well, we're not sure. But column 1 also went down. We could check one more time to see if anything else changed.
V, S, W, X, E. Input has been reset.
Because this goes here. What is it? A and E. First this swaps. And then it goes down by 3. Yeah. So we can expect this to be something like this. But the P and the W and the V have changed. And the P was here. There's a chance. Yeah, there's a chance that row 3 went right by 2. That's why it's not the same. Yeah, this is probably the case. So I'll put this is true. Row 4 flipped. No, doesn't look like it. Yeah, now row 2 I think we have pretty much done. Let's try row 4, something we haven't tried yet.
V, S, W, X, M, D, U, G. The first letter
Alright.
added is G.
Yeah, we can also just put this here since we know that these two have swapped, right? Just so we have more information. And here I'm going to put some color so we can differentiate. And is there anything else we know? Yeah, this here is H, C, and K. Yeah, that's good. Now let's check the column to see what actually changed.
G, P, S, E. Input has been reset.
So, same thing as before. Looks like these two rows have swapped. First column 4 has been flipped, and then they swap. So we definitely have 2 of the rows being swapped, which is what row 2 and 4 swap. And which one has this? 4. We can check column 1 down. Nope. Row 3, has that been right by 2? Hold on. Yeah, looks like it. Because, I'd say so. Column 1 and 5 have swapped. No. Row 4 flipped. Yes. I see we're sort of getting a word. I have to check this. Row 5. This is why I keep my notes like this, because then I can check, what's going on. Row 5. I would try to check column this and 1. Nope, this is not in the case. And has row 2 and 4. Nope. So last letter is definitely T. Row 4 has column 1 and 5 swapped. Nope. So we know it ends in a U and a T. And let's see. Also, a neat little trick you can do. If you go to Bell of Tio, or sorry, go to the word list checker. Go to links, word list checker. Choose here Bell of Tio. And here you have the entire word list for LFTO. And since we know that the last two letters are U and T, go here, UT, here. And we can sort of see or deduce what these last things could be, if we're not sure. First, let me check this, because we could be close. What is row 3? Row 3 was here. Does it have row 2 and 4 swap? Maybe. It could be out. It could be... Oh, sorry. UT, but that one I'm not too sure, so I'll just keep that there. Row 2, did this have row 2 and 4 swap? Definitely not. So it's guaranteed N. Row 1, did this have a row 3 to the right? Well, it doesn't look like it because E and X are in the same spot. If 4 was flipped, column 1 and 5. Yeah, if there was any sort of, if this went right by anything, then, or sorry, if this went right by anything, this would not be an E. So you can put this as a 0. And row 2 and 4, have they swapped? P and Y? Not too sure. So, you can check here. We're looking for a word that ends in U and T. And has an N in the second position. No. Inputs. Maybe. And snout. And it honestly looks like snout. Because if we have one here and one here, we have ourselves snout. So using the word list checker is really useful. It saves a lot of time to have to... Because there's another option, which is to keep doing a lot of queries, I guess. Here I did it not much, but you can definitely do like 20 or 30 queries if you want. It doesn't really there's no penalty for that. So also because this one wasn't too bad. When it gets into the entire grid being rotated or louder ring of letters or the combination of those two, it gets a bit more annoying, and you have to check the rules a bit more, but and just be more careful. But now that we have our word, now we just have to submit. And submitting is not too bad. All we have to do is fill in our grid, or at least part of it, and submit our word letter by letter. And doing these transformations every single time we input a letter. So there's one method that's filling the entire grid and then doing everything with everything, which we can do partly right now. So which one's one? Like, what I would do is to use the easiest transformations first. So maybe we just start with the last row.
V, G, P, S, E, J, R, T, A. The first letter added is A.
And here we did this. Do we know of any more information? If we did row 4 and we know this, row 4 has been flipped. Honestly, wait. I'll put this here. We can do the transformations right now. Actually, I just put this here. So if we did row 4 has been flipped, so it'll be GUDMX. What else? Row 3 has been right by 2. We don't know everything. So L goes 1, 2, 2. Sorry, W. And row 2 and 4 swap. So if this is here. Wait, This goes here, and this goes here. And then the rest is the same. So this would be V, this would be W, this is E, this is A, this is L, and this is Q. And this should match up. Why is this a P? Oh yeah, because this isn't supposed to be a W. Yeah. I should have did that, whatever. So we have this. And now we know that this is J, R, and T. So we can just copy this here. And do we have all our letters? S, T, U. We're missing O and N. Alright. But we have to do the transformation for 5, for the 5th row, which is row 4 flipped. So Y, K, C, H, S. Row 3 right by 2. So this would be wait, I have 2 L's. Oh yeah, because this L doesn't go here. Making a lot of small things, some small mistakes. Where is this? And that's it. So the rest stays the same. And I can just copy this rest here. What we can do is reset.
V, G, L,
L.
Y,
Wait.
E.
So it doesn't go here then.
Input has been reset.
And do the first row.
V, I, B, N. The first letter added is N.
Do we know everything now? S, N, U. We're missing an O. One of these two. Alright, so if we did this here. It's row 2, which has all of this. Whew. Alright. Column 1 and 5 swap. 1 and 5 swap. Row 1. Wait. Wow, I'm tweaking. It's row 1. It's row 4 flip. So this just gets flipped. So S, H, C, K, Y. What else? Column 1 goes down by 3. And there's E. And this goes down by 3. So this turns into L, S, E. And row 2 and 4 swap. So if the rest is the same, that means row 2 and 4 swap. So we should have this, right?
L, V, E, S, G.
Perfect.
Input has been reset.
Now I'd go for this final row to get every single letter.
L, V, E, O, P, F, W.
And there we go. We have
The
our whole
first letter
grid.
added is W.
W. Now, what we can do is use the entire grid, do the transformations for the entire grid, and submit our word that way. But the issue with that is that it takes quite a while to do. So what I do is I just get the letters that are useful. So O, S, T, N, and U. Snout. And then I just apply the transformations to this. So row 3 says column 1 and 5 swap. So I just have to do this here. Row 3 goes right by 2. Column 1 goes down by 3. That doesn't do anything. And that's it. So let's reset.
F,
Because now
Q,
we're ready to submit.
A, X, Y. Input has been reset.
Now we want our S first. So, fourth,
F, Q, A, X,
U,
H,
O.
C, K, V.
And I
The first
messed
letter
up.
added is V.
That's annoying. V. Alright, let's see what happened. S and U. Oh man, it's because I forgot this. It's embarrassing. Let's reset again.
F, V, O, Q, Y.
And we have to keep in mind that
Input
since
has
we
been
did this
reset.
here, we have to apply transformations to row 4, which is row 4 flip, nothing, row right by 2, so this goes here. And if you paid attention, O appeared. And row 2 and 4 swap, so US. Okay, now let's do the same thing again.
F, V, O, Q,
It should be U.
U, D, M, S.
There we go.
The first letter added is
So
S.
first letter is S. Now we can just remove this. And let's copy down our board. O, U, and T. And apply transformations to row 4, which is row 4 flip. So row 4 gets flipped. Row 3 goes right by 2, so O would go here. Column 1 goes down, that does nothing. Wait, that's not the wrong one. Here. And row 2 and 4 swap, so U would go here. Now, next one is N.
F, I, B, N.
We
The
have
next letter
N.
added is N.
So here we have this. Now, or I could just keep this. I don't know why I'm removing that. We have U, O, and T. And first row says row 4 flip, nothing. Column 1 goes down by 3, nothing. Row 2 and 4 swap, so U goes here. And that's it. SN, now we need O, which is just right here.
E, F, Y, W, O.
Here we go.
The next letter
O.
added is O.
And copy our board again. And we just need 3. So row 4 flip, that means U goes here. 3. Wow, I am not doing the best today. Sorry about that, guys. Row 3, nothing. Column 1 and 5 swap, there's nothing. Row 3, nothing. Column 1, nothing. And row 2 and 4 swap. Check that again. Nothing, nothing. 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 Perfect. Now let's go for the U.
P, L, M, D, U.
Yep.
The next letter added is U.
And now let's copy the board one final time. We did second row, which means row, column 1 and 5 swap, nothing. Row 3 goes right by 2, nothing. Column 1 goes down by 3, nothing. And that's it. So T is just right here. And now that I look closely, this group of letters has never changed from its original position. because well, doesn't need to. It is not affected by any of these transformations. So let's go.
W, F,
2,
S,
4.
E, X, J, R, T.
Now
The
we
next
have
letter
our
added
word
is T.
snout. So the way to submit is just let the voice go past to the 6th column.
W, I, B, N, P.
And that's a solve. There we go. So, yeah, that's the module. Honestly, not terrible once you get used to it, you know. But this is one of the, I guess, one of the easier ones because the entire grid hasn't been rotated clockwise or counter, which is good, and the outer ring of letters hasn't been cycled either, which is also not too bad. Because especially when these two get coupled together, it can get really complicated. But if you know how to do this, or at least with these rules, the rest is just a bit of the same. You don't have to go so, because I did barely any queries. You could do a lot more if you want. I've had some where I just went all the way down to here, doing queries because, you know, some builds are tougher than others. But yeah, any other recommendations? The word list, definitely go to links, word list checker, and Bell of Teal, and then press the exclamation mark here so you can get the entire list. And that's how we got snout. Yeah. And what else? Yeah, this is the code that I wrote for this if you want to copy. It's pretty simple. And yeah, that's pretty much everything. If you have any questions, you can ask in the comment section. I'll be sure to answer them. And oh yeah, one more thing. Yeah, something to check if a row has been flipped is sometimes you can do this 3 times. Do a query 3 times. So let's say this one, let's say we have something here that's, I don't know, GILWZ, and we do this, and this thing switches to K. And we're not sure what caused this. It could be either, you know, K was here and it went right too, or it could be that it's flipped. So for me, I just do this again. I just query again, and then it'll give me a bit more info. I mean, I'm pretty sure I did this already, but this also works for checking if the entire grid has been rotated. So yeah, to get good with this module is just practice, keep doing it. But yeah, that's pretty much everything. Thanks for watching.